Welcome back to another live stream, another early live stream. Sunlight, you know, don't get much of that here. Okay, so it's very early for me. It's 8 o'clock. And I have pretty much just eaten breakfast and made sure all of this works. But I am excited because we have some more Silver and Reaper in this first chapter. And we love them over here. And they're gonna be kind of cute. We will also get into the beginning of the final battle. Which is kind of crazy. But also very, very fun. So, yeah. Shall we get started, or I think we should. I think we should. Reaper is going to sleep in the room with Silver. Whoa! You're here! You can't go make me emotional right when I'm going live. I did give you a hint. I will say the hint out loud. I am very glad you're here, especially for this first chapter, because Reaper will be coming into the room. And they will sleep in the bed together and talk to each other, kind of, They will talk a little bit, Things are happening and Reaper is kind of emotional. You don't have to apologize. I am just bad at handling support, I guess. And I was not prepared. I was fully prepared on you being not here. And I was like, I'm gonna have to do this alone, and then that. They're not gonna talk about them, obviously. They're gonna, talk a bit about Crow. Silver will ask about the curse, like Reaper's curse, and his response will be pretty much as you would expect. Yes, you do. God damn it. Okay. You have to take a break right now. I can only handle a certain amount of support. But yeah, in Reaper fashion, he will say, yeah, and that's all you need to know. And move on to a different topic. Baby steps, Kai. Baby steps. Okay. We're just gonna get into it so you can see all the fun Silver shenanigans. Silver is also the only person who refers to himself as Harold. And it always takes me by surprise. So there's your reminder of Harold. and the timer is out. So I had to change some things, of course. Like, I had written Reaper knocking on the door before he entered, and I don't feel like Reaper would care enough to knock on the door. It doesn't really feel like him. I had also in the first draft made him a lot more considerate than what actually fits. And like, Harold offers him to sleep in the bed. At first he's like, oh, you know where the hammock is. Unless you want to share the bed with me. And in the first draft, Reaper was like, if you don't mind, that might be nice. I don't know what I was thinking. So now Reaper is like, I'd like that. Nothing more. And poor Silver is also spiraling. Because not only is Reaper right there, next to him, he also, after a while, is like, hey, are you awake? They are. But like that much at the end, it just feels, I feel like there should have been, you know, I should have known him well enough at that point. Okay. Okay, you know what, that is a bit harder to imagine than Reaper being considerate. Because I feel like Reaper actually is considerate, he just doesn't make it clear. Instead of asking permission, he's like, okay, now Silver seems down, I'm gonna give him a compliment and then remove myself so I don't see the reaction. I love that Mac and Reaper are like kind of on the same level. And it feels like we're using one of them to defend the choices of the other. I love that. It makes sense. You know what? It's mayhem over here as well. I am about to sacrifice myself to the social gods and go to a work dinner tonight. And but like I have ideas for like bookmark art with like Silver and Reaper and Jones, and I know exactly where I would put Mac in that collection. So it's closer than you'd think. I feel like my colleagues are nice. I'm just a bit terrified, and also I have work. One of the few days I am working now is tomorrow morning. But I need to do more things outside of my house. I think I will feel good doing that, so I am trying my best to force myself. I don't have to go, but they are buying dinner, and expensive dinner, so, you know. I have actually been playing video games with some of my colleagues because they are actually kind of nice. Oh, it is. I am very much a person who's like, I prefer small home gatherings with people I know. So the idea of like going out, I have never seen the appeal with it. But it'll be fine. I know most of them well enough. I don't actually hate any one of my colleagues this year, which is great. They are, and I feel like the worst part is I think I used to be a very social person and like doing things outside of just being at home. And I'm looking back and like, was I happier? Probably. But how did I put up with that? But I think I was also like pulled along by having very, very social, extroverted friends who kind of like dragged me with them. People are crazy. It's actually really nice, and it's been fun. We've been playing Peak, which is like a climbing game, and I think all introverts deserves to be adopted by an extrovert. I think it just makes things better for everyone. It's just hard to find the extrovert willing to adopt you. So instead it's like introverts being adopted by slightly more extroverted introverts. Me and my partner played with one of our colleagues yesterday and our old friend from school. And I felt like I was watching three toddlers. And I was not the adult in the room either. I was just maybe more adult than the three others. So it was like 3 5-year-olds and I was the 8-year-old. Peak is fun, and I feel like the company makes it is what makes it fun. I now have a list of names of people I want to convert to play Peak with. So yeah, you're on that list. I don't know how it would go because I am dying most of the time. Because it's like you get hungry and lose stamina and you have to eat things, but you can't eat anything. A few days ago I decided I'm gonna try to eat this mushroom. And it was fine at first, so I ate 2 more mushrooms and then poison kicked in and I just smack died. Because I decided to, you know, be a responsible adult and try to eat 3 mushrooms. Then I don't see what can go wrong. If you haven't played it and I'm the responsible one, we're just gonna have fun. And try to eat everything. I feel like that's how I play the game. Or I force feed someone else something. They aren't always happy about that. Our colleague that we have been playing with even ate me at one point, and I am still mad about it. So, yeah. I'm just waiting for a chance to, like, almost get it to the top. And then eat him, or knock him down, kill him somehow. That's great. I feel like it's one of those games where like you don't have to think too much and it doesn't have like a continuous story. You just play it. It takes maybe 2 hours and then you're done. So there's a thing in the game that when you get hungry enough, your teammates or like the other members start to look like grilled chickens, and we didn't really find food in time. And we were in a situation where they were talking about like, oh, they have to save me or my partner, and me and my partner were just like, okay, he has a better chance at surviving, so save him. And he accidentally grabbed me, saved me, gave me a little bit of hope, and then he fucking ate me so that he could continue climbing. I mean, he did get an achievement for it. And he did apologize afterwards. I was like, I'm sorry. But still, I am just waiting for the right moment for revenge. Maybe I should just force feed him mushrooms. I think I should force feed him mushrooms at the top. I am so glad he doesn't know about these live streams and this channel, so... I think that might be worse than just straight up eating him. It's gonna be great. And that's what games are for. If you can't kill your mushroom flavored revenge. I don't know if I would consider mushrooms to be sweet though, but in this case, absolutely. It's either mushroom flavored or cannibalism flavored. One of those. The thing is, though, that when you get hungry enough, they start to look like grilled chickens, and not like the animal walking around, but the food. So I don't think they look very raw. Or human, for that matter, because I am not sure that those colorful little creatures you're playing as are humans, despite them kind of looking like children because of their big heads. Exactly! And also, that would give me an achievement in the game. I don't think poisoning someone with mushrooms would do that. But I also feel like if I can find the mushrooms I accidentally killed myself with, I could give him some hope. Like, here, I have food for you, because it takes him like a minute before the poison starts to actually kick in. Which is why I ate 3, because I thought I was fine. Exactly. But I think I should go back to torturing Silver with his spiraling thoughts. Because he is currently spiraling. With Reaper asking, so what did they say about Crow? In the middle of the night, while they're close in bed, poor Silver. It's just like, so what was Crow to Reaper? And he doesn't want to know, but he also wants to know. But also, like, he's reading too much into it. Silver is always having a time. Especially when it comes to Reaper, when Reaper is close. But I mean, I would probably also read into it if my crush came to sleep with me and then started asking about some random woman he knew 300 years ago, you know? I would also have a time. And I like to think that Reaper is just like, yeah, I'm thinking about this right now. I'm gonna ask about that. And there's like nothing else to it. And it's just gonna get worse. Ah, I just looked ahead a bit and it's gonna get worse. It's gonna mention the person Reaper actually used to have a crush on. Oh my god. Okay. Poor Harold. So the timer is just almost up. And the chapter is done. Okay, now the timer is up. And I think this might be the closest they will get in this book. The closest they will get to like actually tell each other that they care about each other. And in Reaper's case, that kind of just looks like just make sure you're dying peacefully and not on the ship. I don't want to see that. And it'll be a pain when you die, that's for sure. I don't think we get closer than that. I think that's big for them. I also think Reaper is showing some consideration, because his response to Silver asking, "Since when do you care what I want to know?" is, "I always do." It's kind of similar how in one of the earlier chapters, Reaper was like, "I always listen when you talk. I just pretend not to." And then, he's making fun of him because Reaper can't say something nice without evening it out. He kind of does it twice in the same conversation. Reaper has also admitted that he's not really good at this talking about problems thing. And Silver's response is, "Did it take you 300 years to figure that out?" Yeah, that's kind of Silver's response as well. But it is perfect, because that means that Reaper can respond, "It took about that long before some annoying one-eyed fucker decided to poke his nose into my business." And I think that's the closest we can get to Reaper saying, "Hey, I actually care about you." Is it obvious that's what he's saying? No. But I think that's the closest Silver will get to learning that he's the person closest to Reaper. In 300 years, so that it's kind of big. I would say that's kind of big. I almost forgot. Silver actually asks him, "So you'll miss me?" And Reaper's response is, "More than anything." And then he goes on to, "Don't let it get to your head. Just don't die on the ship. I don't want to see it." Why are they like this? Mm-hmm. I know. I know. And I think like there's a part in the end where Silver just basically tells Reaper to just let me know if you want me to, you know, declare the marriage or something. I don't know if I can keep that in now. But I kind of want to. But yeah, yes, that's basically a marriage proposal. Uh, I just don't know how to work it in now when they aren't, you know, getting together at the end of this book. It's gonna be so close. And there will also be I do think that it might be Jones just seriously looking at Reaper and being like, "Hey, do something. Don't run away anymore." And probably when Silver isn't around. Because there's also a part later on where Reaper kind of says, yeah, don't worry about it. It's kind of embarrassing now that you survived." And you will not get more information about that. And I don't even know if I can call what they're doing flirting. Like, Silver is kind of flirting, but he's also kind of scared to do that. He's more so flirting with everyone else. And Reaper just gives Silver compliments when he's down and gets out of there. And it's not even real compliments, it's just like a compliment coming from Reaper, sort of thing. Like, of course I listen when you talk, you don't shut up. And then he's out. I guess you're right. It's flirting with a big chunk of the Nile sprinkled in. And the next person to be tortured is Levi. We're really like going from, oh, they're this close, they're so close, to, oh wait, here's, you know, the uncle learning that his sister is alive and is kind of part fish. And also the Dutchman and the locket are colliding. No. They're coming together to prepare for a fight. So like Reaper and Wilhelm will be reunited. I guess. And I think this is one of the first time we will hear someone refer to Reaper as his given name and not just Reaper. And I don't know how I would feel if someone were to use a name I have not used or heard since, you know, or in 300 years. Probably. But also, like, Reaper was looking for Wilhelm for so many years. And then he just assumed that he was dead because they never found him. So I feel like he might also have been confused if Wilhelm would suddenly call him Reaper. Because he has never known him as Reaper. Okay. Wait. I'm so confused. Okay, no. I'm gonna jump into the next chapter. I will refill my water, so I'll be right back. I am back. Well, yeah, that's pretty much Levi's reaction. Like, who the hell is Buckley? And also like, okay, I can see why he doesn't use that name. It doesn't fit him. But still, I feel like it would feel weird for Reaper too to be called a name he hasn't been called in very, very long. I mean, that would be like if someone had given me a nickname in kindergarten and I haven't met them since then, and they just used that nickname for me, it would feel weird. But it also would be weird if that person has never called me anything else and they were to use my name. Luckily for me, I don't have to write Reaper's point of view. Because I don't think he needs a point of view. And I would not be able to write that. I don't feel like I would be able to write that. Yeah, I would hope not. I do believe you're younger than me, so though it would have been cool. if it was 300 years since you changed your name. It would be kind of cool. You can just pretend. Maybe. But if that was what you wanted me to believe, you wouldn't say that and make me question it. So, you can't fool me. I mean, I know you're probably a bit more than human, but not that much. Not that much. If you were that old, you wouldn't keep forgetting to give the dogs food before their food time, you know. I think you would have learned. If you had that long. So I will keep telling myself that. Besides, I wouldn't want you to have Reaper's Curse anyway. I don't really know what you would be bound to, but I think at some point it would probably be annoying, at least, to not be able to leave the ship. To like, this is the only space you can physically be in. It might be fun to try to figure out what Reaper was up to between, you know, Irma and the locket. I mean, you could probably do a lot more if you had more time. But like, immortal might be scary. And like seeing everyone around you die. I think that's the part that's like, I don't want to be immortal because I don't want to see the people I care about fade away. Imagine all the books you could read if you were immortal and had all the time in the world. And books you could write. And skills you could learn. And like, Reaper isn't immortal. He's just... he lives as long as the ship is still sailing, and the ship is still sailing as long as Reaper is alive. If you could take out both of them at the same time, it would be possible. Just very unlikely. But like, I feel like there would just be more hobbies developing when the world is moving forward. But like a bit more time might have been nice. Like maybe not immortal, but like 500 years. But it will also be nice to have like 500 years of you don't have to keep working to stay healthy. No, but you could like learn to build houses. Imagine like how valuable you will be when you're the only one who knows a hobby or a skill that isn't used much anymore. Just like how people, you know, want to do old-timey stuff now. And there will be more music to listen to. Yeah, that would be nice. I don't think we need to worry about that for now, because I don't think there's a way to be immortal. A part of me, I feel like it's just, it would be out of the ordinary. It would feel a bit more like an adventure, if it were possible. Maybe it's also like me being stressed because I feel like I'm getting old. You know what? That's fair. That's very fair. There should be some morals if you're gonna be immortal. But also like the part of everyone you care about dying is enough for me to say, nah, no, maybe not. I don't think I could handle all that pain. It's like the idea of like you need to get a license to have kids. I feel like it's in the same vein. Like if it was possible, it should come with some responsibility. But it would also be like, who is the judge of that? Because soon enough, billionaires would probably decide that they decide what is morally correct, and it would just go downhill from there. But yeah, I do feel like that's a thing that would be good. Like, prove that you're able to be a parent before you take on the responsibility. In theory. That's a good point. And probably like not one judge. I feel like the people around them, maybe. I mean, this is kind of like what I'm struggling with, because Doris will be the new goddess when they kill Crow. And that, I want it to be like a democratic decision, but also kind of instant. From one thing to another, you know. But like most of them, I think most of, you know, the creatures living in the ocean is kind of tired of Crow's shit by now. Because she's a piece of work, quoting Reaper. Uh, and like the person willing to go up against Crow might be, you know, yeah, that's good. But also, like, do they have some kind of shared consciousness? Is it the ocean itself? Or is it, you know, everyone living in the ocean? And does that count the sirens, who are currently locked away, not even relevant to Raft in Ocean? And if so, how would they know about what is going on? Though I guess they do, they are able to, you know, see the future and whatnot, but still. Maybe the sirens is who decides that Doris is the new goddess. if only for the reason yeah, I would guess, but where would that alarm bell ring? And who will sense that? Like other gods? I feel like I'm leaning towards the sirens being like they're the original sentient beings in the ocean. And despite them being locked away, I think that they would probably be like, yeah, the one who kills Crow will get that role. But also, Doris isn't the one who kills Crow. She's just the one leading the rebellion, I guess. Fantasy is hard. Damn, fantasy is hard. I guess so. I'm gonna say it's the sirens. I will figure out the details later. But like the sirens are locked away and won't be released for another 13 years. But I am also curious how Crow became the goddess when she died then. Because right now there's this Nightmare on Elm Street thing going on with like she had so much hate in her and greed that she just kind of took over the ocean. Maybe that's the thing. Like there wasn't a god related to the seas before, but the sirens took care of that, you know, as a big group. And Crow just took over that when she died. So Doris is the goddess because the sirens are locked away and someone needs to keep everything under control. Until the sirens return. It's like Crow is the dictator that takes over the democracy. And I guess someone would have to take over from her and make the democracy work again. I think I'm thinking way too much into something that isn't relevant. Politics is hard. Politics kind of sucks. I guess sometimes it's simpler with godly politics because it's more straightforward, but it's still not easy. But I guess that could mean like other elements of the world doesn't have gods to manage them. So then it would make sense that like there's trolls who takes care of things like mountains and forests and stuff. I don't know how to fit vampires into that, but you know, they're gonna be in there. And then where there isn't a species to take care of it, someone has to take over and they become a god of some sort. I mean, that would also... Maybe that's where vampires can fit in. But I would also like to believe that like vampires are one of the types of creatures that are hunted down and there's not many of them left. Or they are all in hiding. Or maybe vampires are just like ticks. They don't have a purpose other than being bothersome for everyone else. But they still exist. Oh, I like that. Or like weather, maybe. Parasites do have a place in the world. And I think that would make more sense if they are going kind of extinct, that the world hasn't changed that much despite that. But I also like day and night cycles or weather. I think I might have to explore that more in the sequel. Okay, I like that. I like that. And that is just like slowly, the climate is slowly changing and people don't know why. But it's because vampires are getting killed one by one. So they aren't eliminated immediately. But also, who will take over? I think we'll have to go more into what vampires do for the world one day. Maybe they also have something to do with like the air. Because they are one of the like few humanoid creatures that can fly. But also animals. I will think about this. I will think about this. But after we meet the Dutchman, I need to write some more. But I really like vampires going extinct being the cause of climate change. Have a fun day at work. Or a nice day. Good luck at work. Woo! You're not missing much Reaper and Silver action. Good luck. I'm gonna be right back. Okay, so I have to change a lot of things because the first draft had like a lot of introductions that I feel are unnecessary at this point, because while Levi hasn't met the crew of the Dutchman, we as readers have. So we don't need to have like this whole introduction thing. And I also feel like Reaper wouldn't just go and introduce everyone. He would probably be like, yeah, this is our captain, this is their captain. That's it. That ship is called the Flying Dutchman. And also like to Wilhelm be like, yeah, this is Irma's ship, the lovely Rory Kit, but we're going by the Locket now, so just so you know. And I'm really happy that I managed to find a good name for the Locket that also matched the theme of how Vordu ships are named. Because they are named kind of based around the monarch at the time. So the Loyal Leptid and the Sailing Serpent fits together in an like animal sense, while the Royal Raven and the lovely Lorikeet fits together. Lorikeet, maybe? I have only read the word, but they fit together for their time. And also, like, the Flying Dutchman doesn't fit any of these naming systems because it's not from this world. Which I guess isn't relevant in the story, but for world building it is relevant to know that the Flying Dutchman brought this whole mist thing with it, so it will kind of be relevant a little bit later after the battle, because Doris will be like, I can't remove this, but I can move it. And also she will send the Dutchman back to where it came from. Which kind of matches with, like, looking at the history of the Flying Dutchman being from our world. And I kind of like the idea that this is just a different world. Like, our world exists outside of this world. But the only evidence we have of that is the Flying Dutchman and Wilhelm van der Decken, who, you know, is said to have been the captain of the Flying Dutchman. So my idea is, like, Wilhelm is also kind of bound to the ship, similarly to Reaper, but the Dutchman also comes with the mist thing kind of built into it. So Doris can move the mist power thing, and the best she can do for Wilhelm is sending him and the Dutchman back to where the Dutchman came from, where magic and curses aren't a thing anymore. And, like, leaving this world will remove the curse. And he might just live out a few years as captain of the Flying Dutchman in another world, but he's not going to be cursed anymore. Which is pretty much the best you can do. And, like, breaking the curses aren't the easiest thing in the world to do. Only the rightful rulers of the seas can do that. So only the sirens can do that. Which will be, like, why they, in the sequel, go to find the sirens. And also, like, we need to restore the seas to how it's supposed to be. We're gonna go find the rightful rulers, which is the sirens. But yeah, I had to, like, skip a whole lot of things and add a whole lot of things from the first draft. So now I'm just kind of trying to get back into what's supposed to happen next, which is Levi seeing Doris. And Doris being like, we'll talk more later. Don't freak out yet. Save it. So, yeah. That's what we're doing. And I just want to finish this chapter and then I will take a break. I've already been streaming for 2.5 hours. Most of it has been talking, you know, which is nice. But I should also write. And 2 chapters is the minimum I am allowing myself to write. I don't want to write less than 2 chapters because I want to finish this thing. So yeah, let's go and hopefully finish this chapter before we reach 3 hours of the live stream. Oh, okay. So they're about to meet Crow. So the next live stream is in 2 days. I will round off here because I've already been sitting here for 3 hours and I need to get up and move, you know? And if you've been sitting here, get up and move a little bit, okay? You deserve it, you need it. You know that already. Drink some water and move. But yeah, next time we'll be starting the final battle, which we'll actually start it with Rasmus and then we'll move over to Jones and we will be in pain. And then I think we'll actually do a Cordelia chapter. I don't know if I will write 3 chapters, but if we write more than 2 chapters, we will move over to actually getting Cordelia's point of view again. And then we're near the end. We're so close to being done with this draft. It's crazy, but yeah, we will get back to actually the battle. I might actually also write Cordelia's chapter before that, because I feel like this is one of the chapters where I do know what I want to happen with Cordelia. And also to see a little bit Crow going up to fight the Locket and the Dutchman. And also I might be mean, because there would be a huge cliffhanger if I wrote Cordelia's chapter and then Rasmus's chapter, and then waited until the live stream after that to write Jones's chapter. I don't know if I can torture my loved ones that much, but you know, maybe. But yeah, that's all for today. I hope you will have a good day. We're still in the beginning of the day. It's kind of morning still. So I hope you will have a great day, and the next live stream will be on, I'm gonna double check days because days are messy. On Thursday, and it will be later in the evening again, like I usually do. But it's been fun to write in the morning. I have woken up a bit and I feel like I have done something good already in the day, so that's a good thing. But yeah, until Thursday, thank you so much for watching. Have a great adventure, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!